Hello everyone, I'm Grandmaster Denes Boros and today I'm going to solve a 3000 puzzle and tell you all the steps that you have to take to do it. Now, if you think about 3000 plus, you think about computers because even Magnus Carlsen is on the level of the high 2800s and not the 3000s. So let's take a look how to solve these puzzles. Now this puzzle looks tricky. We're down a queen, so it's not supposed to be good for us. So my first thought would be, okay, I'm down a lady, but how can I actually turn it around? Now the first clue that I would think about is that queen and king is suspiciously on the same colors. So I would think about moves such as f4, d4, but after takes, let's say I go d4, that simply captures, f4 simply captures. So I would start off with checks and ideas such as that. Clearly not working, so I would relegate them or just not consider them part of the candidate moves. So d4, f4 pawn moves are out. However, my second thought would be, okay, so let's say this is the position. What could black possibly play here? Let's say I am just going to move my bishop to e7. Can black go queen a1? Not really, because I have bishop f6 check and I win the queen. So if I go here, which is not necessarily my move, but it's an idea. So bishop e7. Now, if black goes here, I have bishop f6 check and I win the queen. So that would be reasonable. If queen g1, then I have this beautiful tactical idea of f4 check. And either you ignore it or take it, I have knight e2, checking the king and the queen and winning on the spot. Unfortunately, after queen takes f2, I do not see a way after bishop f6, king f4, or if bishop d6, king d4, and the king is surprisingly safe in the middle, even threatening to take the c4 pawn. But that is not really the point. Oftentimes you just want to see, okay, is there a potential for zugzwang? Is there a chance that black is just not able to make a useful move? Well, it turns out not to be the case. After bishop e7, as we said, queen takes f2 is one alternative. Probably there's some other moves, and then there is no way through. So now I should look for checks. Maybe there's checkmate. If I check here, then there's king d4, two threats. I don't see a way how we can capture the queen, so it's probably losing. And if check, then king f4, and we're straight out of checks immediately, because everything would get captured. So checks are right off the table, the pawn moves are out, the bishop checks are out. Okay, so it's not quite a zugzwang, because black can make any other moves apart from queen g1 and queen a1. However, it's an interesting idea, because now we know that potentially that could be a trick for this puzzle. Okay, so if it's not f4, d4, and any of those checks, I have to consider moves such as c6, because the pawn is getting very close to promoting. c6, if queen takes f2, I have this check, king d4, and I will have this extra option of winning the queen. So let's say if I go here, queen takes, I do have this check. You can't go there because it's all blocked off. That's illegal. And if you go here, I check you and I win your queen. Okay, so I see a point with c6. Can the black queen come back and stop it? Not really, because we already talked about bishop f6, and we're going to win the queen. Alright, so c6 does look like an inspiring first move. Queen g1 is not possible because of the aforementioned f4 check, and then again, we win the queen. Therefore, a couple of other options we've got to look at. So there's either king f4 or taking the pawn. So if king f4, then black might just face this check, moves, and I capture. And black actually does not have any ways of troubling that king. Queen e4 is blockaded. You can't go behind it, and queen a1 is just a little bit too late because the pawn is going to promote and white is just winning. Okay, so the king move doesn't really work. Also note, c takes b7 probably is a mistake due to queen e5, and I control that square. So c6, and if king d6 just takes, and the promotion is unstoppable. Therefore, black has to take. So we worked ourselves into the first lines. I feel that we're getting closer. c6, b takes c6. No other moves make really any sense. So now after c6, we've got to check again whether f4 or d4 wins. Now f4 could be captured, but even the idea of king d6 come to mind when the king just elopes. d4, same thing, the king just elopes. So again, d4 and f4 is right out the window. Knight moves are not logical. Either it's going to get taken or it allows queen e4 check. So no knight moves. So we're sort of left with the bishop move. If we go here, then the king just runs away. If we go e7, that's also an interesting idea. You've got to check it. If queen a1, there's bishop f6, that wins. If takes, we would have this glorious idea of bishop d6 check. If captures, knight d4 check, and we take the lady. And if you go here, I have bishop c5, and knight e4 wins yet again. If queen g1, we already know f4 is winning. Even d4 is winning there. So there's actually multiple solutions. So this looks close to winning. However, after king f4, the king runs away. Now, that brings us to the question. Can we somehow expose that queen on e1? How about going bishop a5? Attacking that queen. So if takes, then we have bishop c7, bishop b6, and takes. This is a very nice trick. And knight e4 check. Same idea. If king f4, again, that's an issue. The king just runs away. Also, black could even go for king d6, king d7. So that sort of leaves us with the idea of chasing that king away. From the f4 square, go bishop c7 check. King d4 is a must. And now bishop a5. Because if the king would try to run away, there's d4 check, and I take the queen. If you go king takes c4, a d3 check, I take the queen. So what else is there? So all of these king moves don't work. King e5 runs into d4 check, and there's bishop takes e1. So no more king move ideas for black. What if c5? Well, in case of c5, I can check on c3, move the king there, check, so you can't take there, and I take your queen. The other pawn move. The other pawn move doesn't save you either, because of bishop c3 here, and d4 check, and I'm again taking your lady. Okay, so the only thing left is the queen moves, and none of them seem to be too awe-inspiring. If you go queen takes f2, then the aforementioned check, 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 knight e4 wins. I take your queen. And if you go queen g1, I go knight e2 check. And if you go queen a1, then there's bishop c3. And the final touch is, if queen e5, I have bishop c3 and the queen. So breaking down, what is the solution? The solution is the following. So we realize that there is some tactical tricks with the king and queen, but for that we needed to create a pass pawn and also set up some tactical ideas with the king and queen being aligned on the g1 a7 line. He takes. Now the threat is that the king is running away, so you check first, here, bishop a5, and after bishop c3 and an eventual d3 or d4 check, white is winning. So I hope you enjoyed this puzzle and the breakdown, how you can solve a puzzle that is 3,000 plus. If you have any puzzles that you think is interesting, please post it below. I'll be happy to look at it. And if you love this video, please like it, subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are. Bye-bye.